ideas, you could hear the people in the street whispering, well, you know,
PAH 23, the apprenticeship program. Leader of the opposition member for the North Side, you had some questions, sir. Please proceed.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chairman. I just have a question. Why isn't this program being done at UCCI where we already have qualified instructors and staff?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, through you, thank the member for the question. Mr. Chairman, this program initially started, the pilot program, recognizing that there were a shortage of persons with the necessary qualifications, even for public works to hire. And so the program started with a few young men that as I said before, went through SciFec and went through the summer internship program. Some of those young men were to fill roles within public works in the initial stages. The program proved to be successful, and again, we were, oversubscribed each over the last couple of years, and so the government saw it prudent to continue this program as a standalone program that is actually a City and Guilds certificate program. And you can go right up to we'll be able to go right up to level 3 with this program.
The same Cities and Guilds program is available at UCCI. My problem is that I want to make sure we're not duplicating effort. I can understand if we were confining it to public works, training their employees and providing them an apprenticeship. But when we are going out now and recruiting talking about 50 people, certainly it has to be better for that kind of educational training to be done at UCCI where we have and this money would be better invested in UCCI to add to their facilities.
Thank the member for that, and Mr. Chairman, through you, some of the things, and I was just told that the program had actually stopped at UCCI, but some of the I may be wrong. I was just informed. Some of the things that make this program so successful, Mr. Chair, through you, is that Public Works has the ability to provide a lot of the practical training. They also have the staff at Public Works play a huge role in this program as mentors to the young men, and young people, I should say. And so it has worked in that way that you have the on-site training, the ability to work in the field and with mentors as well as part of the program, built into part of the program. We have expanded that now that we see that we're filling the gaps with those being employed by Public Works Department, to include a couple of construction companies that as they get into the level 2 and level 3, that they will start to get some practical with the construction companies with a view that they will continue to move on or be employed with them at the end of the program.
All those in favor of PAH 23 apprenticeship program for $412,100, please say aye. Those against, no. The ayes have it. TP 76, Assistance for Infrastructure Development, $2,040,000. Are there any questions? Member for North Side.
Yeah, I wonder if we could have a breakdown of, because if it's only for the completed construction of the Bordentown Church of God, this seems like a lot of money. Can I get some kind of breakdown of what we're doing? Because that building has got a roof on it, got windows and doors on it. Even if you're doing a parking lot, it shouldn't be that much.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to have a representative from the Major Projects Office answer that question.
Nyasha Brady, actually acting director, Public Works Department. Through you, Mr. Chair, currently the building to date construction we've completed at least 2.5 million, and based on the valuations done by external and internal estimates, that's where we have amounted the balance of 2.04 to complete the building.
That's not the breakdown I'm looking for. I'm looking for the breakdown of what this 2 million is going to do. Is it included? Is it the parking lot? Is it fencing? Is it electronic material inside? What is it?
Through you, Mr. Chair, so basically it's to complete the existing building that you see there and associated works. So that would be civil works or parking facility in order to accommodate the actual structure that you see there in itself. But not for the church. That is not inclusive in the 2.04. That it also is key to note that the consultants that we'd have to engage or bring on board is also inclusive of that fee as well, which is amounting to about 215,000.
With all the public work staff we got doing teaching now, you're having to bring in consultants to project manage a completion of a building?
Through you, Mr. Chair, it's not for the project management, it's actually for the structural engineers, which we do not actually currently have in-house. We're actually engaging the previous structural consultants that were on board to complete the project. So there are several planning applications that we'd have to abide by and changes in order to, meet the current planning regulations and laws in order to basically obtain approval for accommodations of that facility.
So the structural engineering wasn't done in the first 2.5 million? You're going to do structural engineering now with the roof on, windows in? Are you suggesting that the windows they put in might not be impact resistance or?
That's just a part of the due diligence to ensure that what we have there in the current structure is meeting those requirements, sir.
I understand that, but you don't have a breakdown of the 2 million that says 1 million is for $100,000 is for the completion of the stage, $100,000 is for completion of the floor. I don't know if it has a ceiling, and I haven't been inside the building. Does it have a ceiling in it?
Yes, sir. I do have, through you, Mr. Chair, I do have that information, but I'm asking if we could provide at a later date because I didn't bring that breakdown with me today. But we do have that breakout.
If you don't have that information, I don't got no questions because that's what we need to find out. Because you say we've already spent 2.5 million in this building. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not against the project. I just want to know what it entails because it seems like a lot of money to me when I talk to other people in the construction business in terms of completing the building. But if you're saying you got to go back and do engineering evaluations of what's there and all that, so you might have to change the roof and all that again, then or what?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, the overall budget for the project was actually estimated at about 4.6 million, and then I'm saying 2.5 of that has been spent to date by them.
Mr. Chairman, we will get the breakdown, and just to say that was the estimated evaluations that came in on the property. They put it at I think it was around 5 million, right? Evaluation completed. Yeah. I put it at around 5 million completed. we got an external valuation done on the remaining construction works as well as internally, and both came back within reason within that area.
You're talking evaluation or quantitative surveyors for for work that needs to be done?
We did there was a valuation given on what the completed project would be valued at,
Right.
and then the survey on what the works would cost, yes.
So this $2 million is based on quantitative surveyors' estimates of what it's going to take to complete the building?
Mr. Chairman, that is correct.
Wow.
Mr. Chair.
Member for Bordentown West, then member for Georgetown Central.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'd like to thank the Honorable Minister for including this spend within the budget. This was something that we have been pushing hard for. I can also say to you, to the Minister, through you, Mr. Chairman, to the Minister, that I had also made a call to the people involved in this project prior to, just to make sure that the amount being requested was actually what's there. And they did confirm the ballpark amount that this was what was provided by the quantity surveyor. So I just want to, in terms of what it would be needed to complete the building, so I did get independent verification from the other side that this number was within the ballpark. The only questions I really have on this is, when do we expect it to start and when can we expect it to finish? Because we need this in Bordentown. Thanks.
The target is to commence in August once the funding has been approved, and then it's a 6 to 8 month build out.
Thank you very much. And there's anything that myself or my colleagues from Bordentown can do to help in the process, just please let us know. Thanks.
Member for Georgetown Central.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to make a notification in respect to previous and current ministers' agreement to provide in writing answers to questions. I know sometimes ministers may provide the answer directly to the person who was asking the question. I think it'd be appropriate that the answers given to any member be provided to all members, at least for the opposition side, because though I may not be asking the question, if a question is raised, I definitely would like to know what the answer is myself. So, for example, I know there's promises made to provide answers to the member from East End. I'm sitting here, and when I hear answers on matters, it informs me to be abreast of the issue. So if there's another question that I didn't specifically ask that will be given in writing to another member, I would like a copy of them as well.
Mr. Chairman, that's fair. However, let me just say that we will get the breakdown for members. We would ask that as we do have to go out to tender for this, that such detail that the members handle it in the strictest confidentiality, just because we haven't gone out to tender on the project as yet. So, again, Mr. Chairman, we you know, if the members so wish, but we do ask that it's handled sensitively as we have not gone out to tenders yet.
There are no further questions. Those in favor of TP 76, Assistance for Infrastructure Development, $2,040,000, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. The ayes have it. EI 71, Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, $1,659,000. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, you see, this covers the same apprenticeship program at Public Works again?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, through you, the previous vote was operational. And as I said, this is now the capital to go towards the expanding the building and the physical plant to be able to house it. This also includes
And
the
community college buildings falling
Small
down.
Business Development Center and
Community college buildings falling apart.
DVES canopy that has been deemed unsafe, and some fiber optic infrastructure replacement for GIS. For computer services, sorry.
How much is being spent on the vehicle for the Small Business Development Center? Air conditioned, leather seats, power windows, 8-track. Covering all bases.
Hold on. Mr. Chairman, I read it here, but there are IT equipment and a vehicle for the small. There is no vehicle included in or being requested by the Small Business Development Center, so we're not sure where that description came from. So I have everything that's on here on mine except for that vehicle as well. So we don't know where the vehicle came from. It.
2009.
All those in favor of EI
Mr.
71?
Chairman.
Yes, sir.
If I may, sir,
Okay, no, please.
I just want to know what that replacement and expansion of government fiber infrastructure is all about.
Mr. Chairman, Simon Spears, Director of Computer Services. Through you, sir, we have about 30 sites around Georgetown that are all connected by government-owned fiber. It's in the duct system. It's up to 18 years old. This is clearly been sweated as an asset to the point that it's in places no longer serviceable. And it's prudent to replace those sections at this time. In addition to that, we need to build some resilience into that network. We have a number of single paths of failure, potentially, that if we don't remediate, leave mission-critical systems isolated.
Mr. Chairman, I wonder if he says 18 locations around Georgetown?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, it's roughly 30 sites around Georgetown, 18 years old, sir, if I wasn't clear.
Oh, 30 sites about 18 years old. All of those are 18 years old?
It varies, sir. Clearly, we want to beef up the older parts of that network. Some have been very recently laid, including Walker's building for the work department. So it's a range of 18 years old to a few months old.
That's where, wow, Walker's building is where works is? Yeah, yeah. Wow. Boy, scratch my back or scratch yours. You laughing? You think that's a laughing matter? Anyway, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, I understand the government infrastructure because I was talking about it earlier on Friday, I believe. Who is doing this work, though?
So at this stage, we're seeking to secure the funds to do the work. Clearly, then we'll go to the market to test the best provider.
And Mr. Chairman, I wonder if I can find out if we have contractors on island that can lay this fiber.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, the last time we had a significant outage, Logic stepped in to help us out of contract and we reimbursed them. But there are other providers and we would seek to go to tender for this.
Okay, as long as it's not bringing in anyone.
Mr. Chairman, how did we...
Go ahead, member for Newlands.
Thank you. How did we arrive at a cost then if we haven't gone to market to...
So these are, through you, Mr. Chairman, these are provisional costs. This budgeted amount is what we believe that we can manage the delivery of during this year.
All those in favor of EI 71, Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, $1,655,000, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. The ayes have it. EA 36, Miscellaneous Road Surface Upgrades, $600,000. Member Freestead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, can we find out what section of Estella Tibbetts Highway these bicycle lanes are being put? Installed?
Mr. Chairman, Ed Howard, acting Managing Director of the National Roads Authority. I believe the question was specifically where on Esley Tibbetts Highway the bicycle lanes are being proposed. And the answer to that is between the Butterfield roundabout and what we call the ACR roundabout. That's the roundabout just at the landfill, at the landfill site. So it'll be on both sides of that roadway.
So, Mr. Chairman, can I find out at what stage they are? Is it that you guys got paint them now or what?
Mr. Chairman, through you, we had to order some some delineators. So, you know, the orange sticks that we use along the roadway, we ordered a special green type. So we have those in stock, and it's just a matter now of placing those and painting the lines.
But so it's not proposed. It's already built.
Mr. Chairman, through you, yes, sir. The lanes are there, but there is you'll notice we've been doing some additional asphalting along there. So just south of the ACR roundabout on the northbound approach, there's a little section that still needs to be paved. Okay. And we're just waiting on Logic, I think, and some of the other utilities to lower their manholes.
Okay.
So that we could do that.
Mr. Chairman, as I recall, fog of memory again, but remember this, $5 million US. We voted in here to pay DART to build that piece of road, are we saying that it wasn't included from Butterfield to ACR?
Mr. Chairman, through you, the bike lanes were not included in that, no.
But they were included from ACR through DART property.
That was built by DART, and yes, they built them. So now we started last year with some funding to do the ACR up to Butterfield, and this is to complete it along with the other items in it.
Yeah, but I want particular to touch on this one. Was this exclusively removed, or was it an oversight, or was it there was a refusal to build it?
Mr. Chairman, through you, and this was before me, but I'm reliably informed that the agreement or what we paid for was to have the road built without the bike lanes, a specific width of road from the ACR to Butterfield. Mr. Chairman, right away we recognized that, especially because there were bike lanes on the first half of the Esther Tibbetts, we recognized that we had a safety issue there because the road was heavily traversed by cyclists, and some pedestrians in particular between the condos there on that stretch, Lakeview and Commander Bay. So we made a decision to build the bike lanes on both sides mainly for safety concerns and as a part of what we are considering the new standards for roads to include all persons who traverse on our roads, including pedestrians and the cyclists.
Mr. Chairman, and I guess Mr. Howard would know this, hasn't there been a long-standing policy that on all arterial roads, main arterials, that bike lanes are a part of it?
Mr. Chairman, through you, I think the way to answer that would be that we certainly do try to put in bike lanes where we can. I know on some of the other roadways that we've done, like the east-west arterial and so forth, you'll see where we've put 4 or 5 feet as where we could to facilitate a bike lane. More recently, though, we've been having the issue of in terms of classification, whether that's a bike lane versus a sort of a breakdown shoulder where we've had cars and so forth, utilizing what should be a bike lane. That's why in this instance with the Esley Tibbetts, then we decided that it would be best to delineate this specifically so that motorists and pedestrians and cyclists are clear as to what is a bike lane and what is essentially a road shoulder.
Certainly, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Howard will agree with me that that was the express intent, to have it as a bike lane. Thank you. Say it on that, Mike.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, through you, yes, that was the intent.
Thank you. No, Mr. Chairman. He said that we try to put them in place. Mr. Chairman, I'm sure Mr. Howard will agree with me in saying that at the same time there were parallel construction of that section of Estella Tibbetts Highway with what the name of it? Roundabout on 2 and black in the middle. Linford Pearson Highway. There was parallel construction. You will agree with that, sir?
Mr. Chairman, through you, yes, we were doing, NRA specifically was doing the Linford Pearson Highway, pretty much parallel, while DECO was doing the Esley Tibbetts Highway.
And we did want that one up there, missed that one down there. Really? You really think I can believe that? I'm sorry. I cannot digest that one. I will not digest that one. That Public Works, no, NRA is more progressive on one end of the island than they are on the other. Arden can't swallow that one. You don't have to answer that.
Member for Georgetown Central. You have a question?
Mr. Chair, I see that there's another line item where my question would probably be more prudent if the minister would want me to wait till that line item comes up or take the question now, but it's in respect to a roadway. I'll just pose the question. He can choose how to answer it himself. Can the minister, through you, Mr. Chair, give an update on the intended time or start time for Markfield Lane improvements and resurfacing?
Mr. Chairman, we still need to have consultation with one landowner, and as soon as we can resolve that, then we will move forward with those works, but certainly within this year.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I know the minister means well, but that was the answer we got the last year in respect to the same road. Is there a problem with the landowner, and is there not provisions within the law to address problems of this nature in respect to land acquisition? We know we have examples of matters of roads and lands acquisitions where are before the courts now. So if there is an issue, is it a matter of negotiations or legal matter? Can the minister give us a breakdown?
Mr. Chairman, through you, it is my understanding that we are trying to work with the landowner for the best solution. We are just waiting on some figures back from Lands and Survey so that we can continue the negotiations.
Mr. Chairman.
Member from Savannah.
If the minister can share with us the what they're going to try to do about the Grand Harbor roundabout and the soon-to-be impossible Shamrock Road intersection.
Mr. Chairman, through you, I'd like to thank the member for the question. Mr. Chairman, we are working on a number of different solutions for that area. One of those is that we're looking at adding an additional lane either direction. This is combined with increasing the lanes and the roundabouts, obviously, and then having some dedicated through lanes. We now have in operation and going through the training with one of the modules for the traffic modeling system, which will be very useful to us in making these decisions. We also have some other solutions, including lights and other things on the roundabouts, but which are all being ordered. But like I said, whilst we have a good idea because we've done research before with drones and et cetera, and the numbers that we know going through there, the traffic modeling system will also confirm or identify issues with our proposals. Shamrock. Shamrock, the response to that is that we are, is to continue on the east-west arteria to Bodden Town, sir.
And through you to the minister and hopefully on to the police. Somebody can get killed and no, you got a nice pretty now flashing, stop, not one soul looks at them, they just keep coming right through. Lord Jesus, when it can slow down? All the time. So there's no reason why you can't see it. But Mr. Chairman, through you to the Honorable Minister, and I really thank him for the effort he's putting into this, and I'm glad to see he finally came to the conclusion that I did 27 years ago when I told the government that I work with you can't build yourself out of traffic. And I would encourage him, and I'm begging now, pleading for Northside, East End, Bodden Town. He did talk about the continuation of the bypass up on Cross Newlands. Them poor people. It was now, since you put in that nice 2-lane, 4-lane highway down to Linford Pearson. The backup used to be down Lowell, and now it's up Peace Bay. So I beg you, sir, to find out what they can do about that. And come up the one night, not talking about now when you get home in the evening, taking 1.5 to 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours, no matter when you leave, unless you leave town 3:30 to get east. Please take pity on us. The West Bears jump in their car and can be home in 15, 20 minutes. We take 3 hours to get east. I beg you, I plead you. And then, as usual, I'm not going to forget you, try to work some little thing out again for Savannah, which would treat it like how treat last year calf. Thank you.
All in favor of EA 36, miscellaneous road surface upgrades for $600,000, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. The ayes have it. EA 78, Government Office Accommodation Project 1, $144,000. Questions? Those in favor of EA 78, Government Office Accommodation Project 1 for $144,000, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. The ayes have it. EA 147, Minor District Works, $400,000. Questions? There are no.
Mr. Chair.
Member for Georgetown Central.
Can the ministers, through you, Mr. Chair, I know that private contractors had made suggestions to the ministry in past years about potentially suggesting layered cemeteries or holes, for lack of better wording, vaults. Thank you, Minister. Is it something that the ministry is considering due to the lack of space available for cemeteries? And I ask this particularly for the Georgetown area.
Mr. Chairman, through you, that would fall under the Department of Environmental Health. This is for the civil works, to prepare the ground, and then we maintain it after, but we are not responsible.
Mr. Chair, you're still on
EA 147, sir.
Yes. Perhaps, sorry, sir. I think this is where the minister said he would give us some enlightenment as to where he's at with the works on the new cemetery in West Bay.
Tony, give me a hard time today, boy.
We in trouble with that? And Northwest Point, they've closed as well. Boson Bay. And that is fast filling.
Right. Mr. Chairman, through you, we had some delays on this due to the new procurement rules, but we're wrapping that up now, and we'll begin shortly. Anticipating to take this to the tendering committee this month, and then from there the NRA will proceed with the works itself, which shouldn't take much longer than 2 to 3 weeks.
Mr. Chair, one last question. I think this is probably the only place I can squeeze this question in, because it has to do with district works. And when you say Smith back there, I'm assuming you're dealing with water as well. Can the minister say if there's been any update in respect to the levees or water leveeways that is on South Sound? Previously, I posed the question to the minister as to their concerns of 2 of those release leveeways for water for flooding, and he said he would inquire as to what the government's position was on it. Can he give any updates, any details as to discussions and maybe potential conclusions they'd come to in respect to those matters?
Mr. Chairman, through you, we haven't actioned anything on the issue of the South Sound culverts, other than it was brought to light, and I think we did inform planning that if there were applications there, that we would need to review the storm management side of it with those culverts. I can seek to get a further update on that for the member, but that's where we're at with it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And through you again, Mr. Chair, I appreciate the minister's willingness to give me an update, and I'm definitely willing to accept that. But for now, we can say that there has been no application to reopen those 2 at this point. The 2 that were closed.
All in favor of EA 147?
Mr. Chair, I think you should allow...
Mr. Chairman, no action was taken on the 2 that were closed. Those were on private land, and development had taken place. But we are looking to, as I said, we've notified planning on these with the 3rd one, that any application coming in that we would have to take into consideration how to preserve that, whether it's a partnership with government and the developer or government themselves.
Mr. Chair, through you, I just want to be clear, is the minister then saying that the government has accepted that those other 2 are now closed, understanding the fact that they are on private property, and that the government's approach now is to try to make sure that the last one that is now still available will be remained open by way of making the planning department be aware that it's there if there's any plans submitted for development, that it don't be closed?
Mr. Chairman, through you, sir, other than, yes, we hope, not that we hope, because they are on private land, there are options to either, we would have to gazette that property or that where the culverts are, that they can't trouble those, or we work along with the landowner, the developer at the time, that we are able to run the culverts without any, in conjunction with their project. So we did have some ideas, and I know that some processes had begun on it, but I would need to get a further update. I don't have that.
All in favor of EA 147, minor district works for $400,000, please say aye. Aye. Those against, no. The ayes have it. EA 148, major road works expansion projects, $1,462,000. Questions?
Mr. Chair, can the minister say the projected road that is expected to go through the stoplight there by Blue Marlin to meet out to the waterfront road. When is the start date planned for that? And has all the necessary acquisitions for properties to allow the road been done? And notifications to the surrounding landowners as to the intention to bring the road through?
I know. Mr. Chairman, through you, we are targeting that to start by the end of the year, around the end of the year. We have not completed negotiations with all landowners. And as I was speaking with the member earlier, whilst we do not have to notify adjacent landowners, we are going to undertake to do that as we did it during the Linford-Pearson Highway. We will certainly do that with the landowners here.
Mr. Chair.
Member for Bottom Town East.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just want to ask the minister if, well, firstly, I want to thank him for and the NRA for all the work that they've been doing up in Belford and other areas of Bordentown. And I know they've resorted their resources to the western districts at this time, and I was told that some pre-approved work for Bordentown that hadn't been done, that they would get back to this after we're finished with those works in the Western District. And I want to find out if and when are they coming back this year to complete some of the works in Belford, Midland Acres, and especially Cumber Avenue with the pump system that they started there. If you can give me some updates on that, please. Thanks.
Mr. Chairman, through you to the member, thank the member for the question. As the member said, last year we started in the eastern districts and worked our way down, and then now we are doing it in reverse. We anticipate to be back in that region, in the Bordentown region, at the end of the summer.
Mr. Chairman.
Member for Newlands.
Yeah, I had raised this previously, I think in previous Finance Committee, the concern that there's only one way in and out of Newlands. And I'd asked for some consideration to be given to, even if it's just a dirt road for the time being, but some other way of accessing the east-west arterial rather than the intersection with Hearst Road. In the event that there's an emergency, hurricane, blockage, or whatever it is, because once you pass the intersection there, there's just one way in and out. So it is a safety concern. North Sound Gardens as well. They can't get onto Hearst Road now because that road has been blocked by boulders, by landowners. So that issue is ongoing as well.
Mr. Chairman, thank the member through you. I'd like to thank the member for raising that again. We will certainly go back and have a look and see what we can do there.
West Bay South.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Not accustomed to calling, recognizing on the side of the bench.
Well, as a representative for West Bay South, certainly want to thank, as the minister indicated, all the work that's being done in West Bay currently, and certainly in the areas that fall within West Bay South, and also to chime in my support of the work with respect to the cemetery. As we know, people are literally dying to get in, so we are very eager in seeing that project go forward. So that is another plea that I know people are shaking their heads. We've been having numerous conversations, but I'm glad to see that we're actually at the stage now where we're going to make progress. So don't ease up. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Member from Georgetown Central.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to the Minister and to the Director for NRA. There's a road in my constituency called Nivert Closed, which I know is a government road, but the road has not been completed. At the very end of it, for the last 20 feet, is just filled in with marl, and it seems like it wasn't finished completed. And the homeowners that surround it have asked me to inquire whether it's the government's intention to complete the road to the agreed point. I think that it maybe has just been forgotten, and I asked the director to take a look into the matter in respect to Nivert Close, which is off Palmdale Road in my constituency. And if he's aware of it, to have it addressed. Thank you.
Noted. Through you, Mr. Chairman. Noted. We'll look into it.
All those in favor of member from East End.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I wonder if the minister can tell us if that Godfrey Nixon Way extension is the one that comes out, goes past the light and go out into Georgetown, into North Church Street. It goes through by where we were doing the school that we had initially tried to put it through. That's fine. That's all I needed on that. That Mango Tree connector up there by the airport, are we going to close off that road behind at the end of the strip? Airstrip.
Mr. Chairman, through you, there are no immediate plans to close that road, sir.
But wasn't that a requirement of civil aviation?
Mr. Chairman, currently there's no plans to close it. I know that with the pending expansion of the runway, they are going to be putting safety mechanisms in place as a blast wall. Because as you know, the extension that's currently happening is more of a safety, more of a safety requirement than it is an actual usage of the runway. But they will be doing putting in some safety barriers there. So at the moment, there is no requirement to close the road.
So what's the purpose of putting that one through there? Down to what was Howard, we did that, right? Edward, we did that, right? The C&B roundabout, and we stubbed it out. But the intent of that was to close that road and go Barbara Thompson Way. That's when we built that up there for the 5 lanes, right? But of course, that got derailed by the forest business through the forest. The Ghost Orchid forest, remember? What's the purpose of doing that? Are we now committed to? I understand the minister saying that they're in discussions recently, I think.
Yeah, we started at the end of this summer. This summer, they started the Smith Road and Bobby Thompson Way extension to continue the widening up towards the little Tortuga roundabout at the top there.
But, okay, so the intent is to do as was planned years ago for the 5 lanes. Remember those pegs there for that for those planes, eh? You remember? You don't run over those. Is it the intent to finish Linford Pearson Highway through those negotiations and go down to Walker's Road?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, the current plan is to to finish the Linford Pearson extension, both directions up to the Tortuga roundabout, or which would be relocated as the current plan stands, and then through back down to Agnes Way. At the moment, what we're doing currently, work starts this week or started this week, is what we call the Olympic Way connector, which is connecting the little road by UCCI out to Walker's Road, next to Burger King.
So, Mr. Chairman, why don't I understand that, but the objective was West Bears and the Eastern End getting out there and going to the schools. That was the objective of that. And then we thought of going to where we connect into, because we couldn't get through the forest, just prior to the forest, where we go through to Windsor Park. Outpost it is, outpost. And then widening outpost and come out there and go by those drum blade, they call, or something like that. Are we not going to try and do that? I mean, yeah, we would still have a forest that we couldn't get through, but we would achieve the objective of bringing people out and making them come here and go down through outposts, widen outposts out.
Those are all options that the NRA are looking at. We, at this current time, the only the priorities we have in the budget now is to complete that section I just spoke to, east-west arteria and some other roads. But as I said, in the interim, we're connecting, doing the Olympic Way connector, and then completing the Linford Pearson Highway up to the Tortuga roundabout point.
Has a traffic study been done on these of what we're going to be doing now, and what was the result?
Mr. Chairman, through you, we have done traffic studies on all of the proposed improvements that we have, including what we're planning to do this year, which also includes the widening to 3 lanes from the Lantern Point roundabout, or what is named Chrissy Tomlinson roundabout, to Grand Harbor roundabout. So that would be in the mornings from the basically the westbound traffic. We will, where Dirty Reeds used to be, we're going to widen that to 3 lanes, and we've done a traffic study on that to show that will have some significant. It will be improvement. It would really help. Yeah.
To go out to South Sound.
To go out to South Sound.
Which is what original, but we couldn't get through that wall.
Exactly. Yeah.
Have we thought of shutting off Old Prospect and New Prospect, 6 till 9? You remember the plans were to stop them from going Old Prospect and to stop traffic from going round the roundabout and going there by Chin. And the roundabout at Red Bay would only serve for the Prospect, New Prospect, if I may. And people going in to coming down the east-west and going into the school and going to the gas station. Remember, that was the intent. We were going to put a light there. Have those been abandoned?
Mr. Chairman, we have just gotten our traffic model, the first phase of that on board, so we are in a position now where we can try out a number of these different scenarios, and that's certainly one of them that we're looking at. Another one we're looking at is actually putting a metering signal at the Grand Harbor roundabout for the PM traffic, and we're also looking at other types of scenarios that we can look at. So that's the good news. We'll be able to test these things out before we actually before we implement them.
Mr. Chairman, I wonder if I'm not sure. I'm wondering if Mr. Howard will agree with me that the traffic woes that we are experiencing in the Eastern District happens from Spot Street come into Georgetown. Would Mr. Howard also agree with me that the east-west arterial going to north side is not going to change that? All it's going to do is put them. I haven't seen it. Oh, I totally agree with you, but the major problem happens to be right there, by Spot Street and along there, and one of the other problems that we have happens to be right in Savannah, where at the school people are changing lanes and trying to get just ahead of everybody else and choking it up right at the merge lane. Maybe when are we going to turn that into a turn lane so that they don't go overtaking it?
Mr. Chairman, through you, I will undertake to look at that again. If the minister will recall, during his time as Minister of Roads, we had actually made that. Sorry, we had actually made that 2 lanes before we had the east-west arterial. For relief, yes. Yeah, so now that we've got the east-west arterial, it's probably, we could look again to try to make that a little bit safer, because you're quite correct. There is a lot of jockeying in the morning, especially right in front of the Savannah primary, and it creates an unsafe condition.
And speeders.
Correct, yeah. And then the rest turning lane, yeah, that is correct, yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, one final little minute request.
Go ahead, Minister. Member for Savannah.
Yeah, just say to the minister, the Michael Gore Bird Sanctuary, someone was saying, begging if you could do a little patching on that piece of road that leads up to that. It's in deplorable condition. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Member for Georgetown. Central, this will be the last question, and I'll put it to the vote.
Thank you, sir. Just going back to the airport road there that connects from both sides, from the new roundabout to the roundabout by Jose. The member from East End talked about, is there any intention of closing that? And the minister said, obviously at this immediate moment we don't have any intentions, but open to the possibilities. Is there not more strategies that we can use? I'm just trying to use a common sense approach here in respect to not having to close that off, but close it off whenever there's planes getting ready to take off. Like, say, for instance, a stoplight type system, as in when you come up to the roundabout, you can't use that road while the planes are taking off, and they will be controlled by air traffic as to flashing whenever they're taking off. Because it is of my view that if we close that off, we're going to really tighten up our put a lot of pressure on the road that is now by the CNB that goes to the cricket field if we close off that airport road. So is there not provisions available or strategies in road systems to keep it open but just close it off when the plane is taking off? It takes, what, a minute and a half for a plane to take off and then open back up the traffic?
Yeah, unfortunately, Mr. Chairman, through you, we're certainly looking at all of our options. I think the traffic is a bit too heavy on that road to put a stoplight there for takeoffs and landings. You would cause a backup then right back onto Crew Road, where you'd just have a full backup because it would just, there's just too much traffic. So we're gonna again, we have the system, but we'll also see when we complete the expansions of the Linford Pearson and Smith Road area. We'll see what effects that has in it, and then we will look at all other options when the time comes that if and when the airport runway is extended to the point that we have to close the road.
All those in favor of EA 148, major roadwork expansion projects, $1,462,000, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. The ayes have it. EA 149, government solar charging stations, $500,000. Questions?
Yeah.
Member for Bodden Town West.
These charging stations, how many banks will each of them have?
Mr. Chairman, through you, thank the member for the question. Mr. Chairman, the number of banks per charging station, I understand, will be dependent on the locations and how many we need for that location. If it's single parking, double where they are. So all of that would be based on the proposals from the providers.
No. No, Mr. Chairman. Basically, just for members' understanding, normally when you will set up, like you see some of the garages, like in the private sector, there'll be like a multiple, like 5, 6, 7 under one big solar panel roof. Governor Square, what we're trying to determine here is what structure are we building, like how many cars we expect to fit in each. Because if you're doing 1 or 2 per each car and you're doing it in 3 locations for $500,000, then that's a definite no-no. So what we're trying to determine is how much stretch of cars you'll be looking to have on one of those big old. That's what we're trying to determine here, to see what kind of costs we're getting.
One bollard.
One moment, Mr. Chairman. It's 30. Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, through you, it is my understanding that we plan to service about 42 parking spots, and that this also includes the solar panels and all of the infrastructure for that as well.
Mr. Chairman, I really need to get in it now. At the courthouse, the Georgetown Library, and Georgetown Town Hall. You can't get more than one at that town hall. You can't get more. Where are we going to put these parking spots? Because they don't have sufficient parking now, and this is going to be like a handicap parking per se, that only cars can come in there to charge up, which is a boost 45 minutes, 30 minutes, or whatever.
Mr. Chairman, through you, the description of Georgetown Town Hall, I think, is an oversight. They're going to find suitable places in town to put, and then also the government administration building, and I think the immigration lot across the side, and the lot over by immigration as well.
Is that in the same vote or a different vote with immigration and government admin building?
Mr. Chairman, I know those young people in that ministry trying their best to look at that energy policy. I know that. I really know that, and I applaud them, and I will do whatever I can to try and help them. At least they get something rolling that the people can see that it's government initiative to do things, and they may influence people. But for the spots in Georgetown?
Not, Mr. Chairman, through you, not just Georgetown. They're in various locations, Mr. Chairman, as I just said, and it didn't. What I was clarifying, it wasn't restricted to the Georgetown Town Hall.
Mr. Chairman, those 3 stations are half-hour maximum charge. Am I right? Half-hour charge. It's going to take your battery to the top. Well, how long are they putting that there for? But what is the duration of that charge? Can't be overnight. I gotta give it 4 to 5 minutes. Multiply that, Mr. Chairman, that means 40 spots times 8 hours in the day. That's 320 cars, more than 320 cars to be charged there in the day, you know? Do we really have those?
Mr. Chairman, this is all a part, and a majority of these are going in and around the government building and being used to charge the government vehicles that we are mandated to purchase for government as part of the government fleet under the national energy policy to convert a percentage of the government fleet to electrical. These I am being informed will be the more slow charging type, the overnight chargers for the government vehicles. And then we will be placing the others strategically around. They have listed here the Boddentown Civic Center, the East End Civic Center. What is CIEC? Cayman Islands Environmental Center. The Cayman Islands Environmental Center. Those would be your quick charging type terminals where persons would just come and plug in for the period of time that they're there.
Mr. Chairman, that's different news now that we're spreading it out. But at first, the minister's information, and I'm being careful with this, the minister's information that he gave us was that it was around Georgetown. Now we're spreading it out. I hope that's not to appease me, but certainly, Mr. Chairman, and I understand the minister. And I know the lady, what name is again? Leda and Miguel has been working real hard trying to do this. But how many cars is it that government is committed to changing out?
Mr. Chairman, if I can't remember the exact percentage of the government fleet that we are committed to converting to EV, but also to say, but we have started to identify vehicles that we could purchase to EV vehicles for replacements going forward. I also am just being informed, Mr. Chairman, that included in this cost, because you do not put up solar panels to feed the charging station, these solar panels would be implemented to go on or to feed back into the facilities that we can, or into the grid, I should say. So that is included in this as well.
Are they also including batteries? No?
Mr. Chairman, through you, I understand no.
So, Mr. Chairman, how are they going to feed back into the grid if they're feeding, if they're servicing the chargers charging up? What are they going to feed back into?
Mr. Chairman, with your permission, sir, I hate to intervene, but we're down into technical discussions that don't matter to most people and most people don't follow. That's not the purpose of Finance Committee, and we're spending huge amounts of time, and we're going to be here another 3 or 4 hours as it is. You know, let's talk about policy issues, not about whether solar panels work or don't work.
But Mr. Chairman, it's his people who are saying it, and I got to ask questions. Well, I asked if it's solar, and they said yes, and then they went on to say it's going to be fed back into the place. That is a technical answer.
I think we've aired this long enough, to be honest with you. Let me put this to the vote.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, just for the record.
Go ahead.
And
okay.
This is, I guess, a precursor with the budget coming a few months down the line, is that we still have a responsibility to make sure that there's value for money. And when you consider the per unit costs of what these station costs per unit, and you look at $500,000, that is a lot. So we need to make sure that we're getting value for money, because I can tell you, if you were to go and cost this for the 42, I guarantee you it's nowhere close to $500,000. Matter of fact, it won't even be half of that amount.
Okay.
Through you, Mr. Chair, if I may. In regards to the Troy Worms, Director of Facilities Management, in regards to the charging stations, we're talking about 2 separate things, and I believe that the name of the appropriation is a little bit misleading. So I want to separate it. It's solar panels, as well as charging stations. So now the intent is that we will be gaining electricity offset in the daytime with the solar panels. We're not using battery technology at this time. So what would happen is there would be some kind of rebate provided back to us by CUC. So when the government fleet actually charges at nighttime, it's not a direct cost to government. You get some benefit. So in essence, we'll be driving on sunshine. That's the intent, and not utilizing fossil fuels to charge those vehicles.
Mr. Chairman, to be clear, and I thank the Mr. Worms for that response, because on Friday, as members, we were told that the description is there, and that's what we can go by to basically ask our questions. So if it's a situation now where the description being provided to members isn't exactly what it is, then this is why we do have these line of questions. But if I was to take that just at face value, then the country would not have been receiving value for money.
Those in favor of EA 149, government solar charging stations, $500,000, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. The ayes have it. EA 150, electronic vehicle registration gantries for $250,000. Questions? Those in favor of EA 150, electronic vehicle registration gantries, $250,000, please say aye. Those against, no. The ayes have it. EA 151, upgrade ramp facility, ramps and jetties, $200,000.
No, I am that one.
Okay.
Cool
Member from
Beach.
Boddentown West.
But you try and stop me from asking about the gantries.
No, I wasn't stopping you. It's just that we had went through that in a previous vote. We went through that in a previous vote. Now I wasn't trying to. No one can stop you.
Member for Georgetown for Boddentown West.
Through you,
Please
Mr.
ask your
Chairman.
question.
Cold Beach. I'm just trying to get an update in terms of what's going on there. I've seen some stuff being built, but I'm trying to understand what the bigger picture is, what is being done.
Mr. Chairman, 1 minute, please. Mr. Chairman, through you, there is some construction of cabanas, which will be a cabana, 30 by 50, I understand, which will be completed in the next month, and we are awaiting a Coastal Works permit for a dock.
So what will the cabana hold?
Listen to me. Then you.
You know, Mr. Chairman, I just asked them the purpose of the cabana. Just be freestanding and left there like all cabanas, like the other cabanas, just to hold people there? Or you going to use it for something else?
Mr. Chairman, I've been reliably informed that this is a replacement to the little huts that were there for the vendors, and that this would be a cabana similar to the one at the cricket grounds for vendors.
You mean, I know the Premier said we getting in technical stuff, but when you hear these things, it makes you wonder. What are they going to do? Carry their product there and then take it back in the evening? There's no way to close it up, or I don't know how.
Mr. Chairman, through you, first, these funds also cover a couple of other projects, but to answer the member, yes, it is a vendor hut similar to the one at the farmers market at the grounds there, and yes, people will come, display their items, and sell, and then take them away in the evening.
Mr. Chairman, I hear the minister, and I don't want to be disrespectful to the minister, but what I see there, with that roof so high, that looks like it's a band stage, and that's what it will be. I promise you that, and I promise the country, and I promise the people back in town, that that's part of the reason that is being built like that. There's no need to have that roof 20-odd feet high, because the trade winds are blowing straight off that water and through it, so not to keep it cool. That is a band stage.
Mr. Chair.
Member for Georgetown Central.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And through you, if the minister would allow some leeway in respect to my question, just because the minister has his team here. Speaking of the farmers market in town and the new road that's going there, has there been any considerations to coming off the new road straight into the farmers market to make it easy accessibility, as opposed to going around the roundabout into their entrance? Wouldn't it make sense that once the new road opens, that they can practically turn into that rather than going into the roundabout as an ease way? Not necessarily to come out of it onto the road, but just to go in it. Maybe too late now, I don't know, but...
Mr. Chairman, through you, sir, there's no considerations. And that we're unaware that those properties surrounding us are owned by the Civil Aviation Authority. And so I don't know what the plans are for the property.
Member for West Bay South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if I can just, thank the minister and his team for the work that is ongoing at Garvin's Park. I think there is a typo in the supplementary appropriation. But if, again, for the benefit of my constituents and also for residents of West Bay at large who use the ramp there quite often, a lot of the fishermen in the area and catboat club as well, if the minister through his team could provide a breakdown of the timeline as to when we will actually see the works on this ramp.
Mr. Chairman, through you, thank the member for the question. Mr. Chairman, the procurement of the structural consultancy services went out to bid and are due Friday, April the 12th. That's this week. Contract we hope to award by April 19th. The design period would be April 19th through May 17th. The DOE approval, coastal works application, we hope to submit by May 27th. And tender period for contractors, June 3rd through the 21st. It is the intentions to have the contract awarded by June 28th, 2019, and construction period of 2 to 3 months, with a hopeful completion by August 2019.
Thank you. Thank you, Minister, very much. I know certainly this is a project that is, again, long time coming, and I know the residents of West Bay will greatly appreciate when the work is actually done and they'll be able to access the ramp and the dock in a more accessible way for the wider community as a whole.
Member for Georgetown Central.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to the minister. Does the ministry take into consideration when awarding these contracts, the contractors from the area upon which the project is being built? For example, if a contract is awarded in Georgetown, the contractors from the Georgetown area would have not necessarily any more strength than others, but this maybe even if it's just 1 point more, that gives work to workers in those particular areas.
Mr. Chairman, through you, we follow the procurement rules, the procurement law when we issue these, when we put out these tenders. It is not my understanding that we judge them based on district or location, sir.
All those in favor of EA 151 upgrade ramps and jetties, $200,000, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. Ayes have it. EA 152 Civic Center, Georgetown Town Halls upgrades, $132,000. Member for Georgetown Central.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I suspect we're about to take a break after this, or at least I hope for some food, because we've been going at it for a while. But I just want to take this opportunity to wish you a big, happy 60th birthday. I don't think anybody else has done so, but happy birthday to you, and I wish you many, many more.
Thank you very much for your kind words. All those in favor of EA 152 Civic Center, Georgetown Halls upgrades for $132,000, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. The ayes have it. It's a very convenient time for us to...
Mr. Chairman?
Oops.
Yeah,
Go
Mr.
right
Chairman,
ahead,
if I might,
Minister.
I'd like to thank my staff for their patience and for their assistance this evening, and also thank the members for their contributions and for their tacit support.
Thank you. Members of the committee, we still have a number of things to conclude in this session. Next on the agenda is the Ministry of Health, Environment, Culture and Housing, then the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development. We also have some very smaller appropriations for the portfolio of the Civil Service, portfolio of Legal Affairs, Judicial, and Director of Public Prosecutions. From the opposition side, are any of these smaller appropriations that you are mindful to maybe just approve? Why I'm asking is dinner is not here yet. Yeah. I'd rather use it. It is here. It is. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, we could take the break then.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I'd just also like to inform you and let you know that you're not the only person spending your birthday in here, sir. I just became informed that Mr. Ian Tibbetts from e-government is also celebrating his birthday, so we'd like to wish him
happy birthday,
happy
Mr.
birthday.
Tibbetts. Let's take the evening break. We'll take 1 hour, and we'll be back at 20 after 7. All right. Let's be back at 7 o'clock.